My name is Morgan, and I represent Team Okashi, the Soroban Smart Contract Playground. I'm super excited to be pitching for SCF 20, which is our third SCF submission. It's hard to believe that number. We're extremely grateful for the opportunities provided by the community thus far. And I'll just touch on our mission. Our mission is to onboard at least 1 million developers to blockchain with our developer tools. We're doing this not only with features and functions, but a lot of empathy for the user experience. This means crafting every pixel with intent and thoughtful consideration. This means reducing complexity and delighting users. And I hope that comes across when you use our product. All right, let's get on with the demo, which is the second slide. Okay. So we're going to start with a Soroban onboarding speedrun. I don't know if anyone has done this before. So what you're seeing on screen is me trying to speedrun the Hello World section in the onboarding documentation for Soroban. Do you guys still see the video? Okay. Yeah, so this experience takes about a minute, and I think it's very important for everyone to be able to see where we are right now and how much better it can be. So the crux of this speedrun is to set up your environment, initialize a contract, make a change in the contract, and submit that change, and then call the contract again. So we have REST environment setup right now going on. Then we're going to call a contract, make a single change, recompile the contract, and call the contract again. So like I mentioned, this takes 60 seconds. And now let's see how long it takes with Okashi. So we boot up, open up a new project, new account, compile a preloaded contract, call increment, make a change, recompile, increment, and boom, we're done. So this was 10 seconds when compared to 60 seconds of the previous experience. Now we're on to the demo of the changes that we made since our previous submissions. We've added a user system and avatars for presence. So we want to be able to allow users to differentiate themselves in the social aspect of Okashi. Next up, we added authentication to authenticate your users. And for that, we're using Stellar key pairs, which easily transitions to us enabling blockchain usage. So we've added account funding for blockchains like FutureNet and Testnet with one button. You click, you fund, and then you can open up your account in the Explorer to confirm that it's actually a funded account. Let's go back to the playground experience. And we have our regular widgets, contracting console. We see instant feedback coming in from the Okashi simulated environment. But now we can switch to FutureNet, which is a public blockchain. So you'll be able to see the difference. It's as easy as flipping a switch in the switcher here and calling deploy. Now what happens in the background, and you'll see it in a console, is that a contract is uploaded, then a contract is created. This takes a lot longer. It's not simulated, but it's live on the blockchain. You can go ahead and call your same functions on the blockchain using the same Okashi interface and see the output in the browser. No extra setup required. You can see this takes a little longer, but it's the FutureNet block time. You can call functions of arguments. The same modal applies. You just provide input using human readable text. These things are links to the Explorer. So every time you invoke a function or upload a contract, you'll be able to have access to the Explorer link. And to show the difference here, so we can switch back to Okashi, and then we're back into the instantaneous feedback loop of the simulated environment. Last part is we've added external contract support, so you can just copy in any contract ID from a FutureNet contract, and you'll be able to interact with it using the same user interface that Okashi is loved for. You'll be able to see the contract transactions with links to the Explorer and the output using human readable text. So that is our number one deliverable that we're going to be shipping later next month. This concludes the demo. Let's go on to the next slide. So what you've been able to see in the demo is actually live as a beta version on Okashi.dev. We're in an open beta right now, so feel free to try it out. I can't wait to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for supporting Okashi thus far.
Awesome. This looks amazing. I love to see the progress as well, and the name change too. It's very nice. So let's see. We have a few comments here. Matthias mentions like that you mentioned we leave Soroban, and it has a few concerns about that. Would you be able to explain that a bit further?
If I said we leave Soroban, I made a mistake. I definitely don't mean leaving Soroban. I mean leaving Okashi as the simulated environment for Soroban and going to the public blockchain version of Soroban, which is FutureNet or testnet. We're not leaving Soroban. Soroban enables Okashi. Without Soroban, Okashi could not exist on any other blockchain. So those are pretty tight together.
Okay, looks like I actually mentioned it was meant for another submission. But anyway, thank you for iterating. Just keeping you on your toes, you know.
Right.
All right, we have another a question here from Silence. Any chance there will be the ability to call other projects in Okashi to make cross-contract calls and deployers, etc.?
Right. I love this question. We've been talking with Silence about this. Simulated environment, that's a lot harder to add. It's going to happen before year end, but right now you'll be able to call cross-contract with external contracts. So like I showed you in the demo, you take the contract ID, put it in the URL, okashi.dev/playground/the contract ID. And then if that calls other contracts within the contract, those happen, and like the system will return human readable output regardless of how many cross contract calls happen.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it looks like folks are pretty really positive about Okashi. Okashi looks very good, says Rabbi Schickelberg. Silence says love Okashi and use it a lot for testing. Ogaski says Okashi product is awesome, and some more comments as well. So definitely keep up the good work. Let me see. I'm trying to find questions for your project.
A question about plugin infra, and I think it's a very important question. And thanks for asking, Matthias. So I believe with the widget infrastructure that we have, so you've been able to see the editor widget, the contract widget with the buttons, the console widget. We're going to allow people from the community to create their own widgets and add them to Okashi very easily. So that's going to be sometime next year. But the goal has, from the beginning, been to allow external third-party widgets on Okashi.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. All right, I think there's a little bit of time. Dr. Bones asked, what's the plan to onboard 1 million users?
Great question.
How many users have you reached so far?
So we've reached a little over 400 accounts up to this point. We opened up the beta around the time of Meridian, so it's barely a month, and we've done no marketing, and we're not planning to do any marketing until the product is ready. The plan to onboard 1 million developers is to get to where they're at in terms of their needs for tooling. The 60-second speed run becomes a 60-minute, a 60-hour, and an impossible speed run for developers that are used to JavaScript, console log, and that kind of thing, and they won't be able to find it on blockchain natively. So with the tooling that comes to what they're used to, we'll have fertile ground to onboard the people, because it's really just a matter of frustration, eliminating frustration for them. And that's the plan.
Awesome. Well, it looks like there's a few more questions. I actually, the SC blog mentioned a question. There's a few others there which would be helpful. Please, continue the conversation in the chat, and then, we're thank you again for presenting.
Thank you so much.